Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. My name is Vita. This is Hippie Crow Hub, and Hippie Crow Hub is a lot of things. Why a crow? Why not an eagle? Well, eagle is very admirable. Eagle is at the top of the position with very impressive hunting skills, power. Just seems that, you know, he's above, right? Can't blame him. I admire him, the big eagle, but he was given something and placed in a power. And now I don't blame anyone hunting for food. But interesting, eagle is not just gonna hunt for food. Eagle is an opportunist. Eagle will hunt just because he can. Eagle will hunt and kill for entertainment, for he will not miss an opportunity to get an extra, even if he's not hungry. He will be just eaten, but he'll hunt again if opportunity comes along. Now, why a crow? Funny, I like crows. I thought crows are cool. I've been around crows since I was a kid. I got to know them a little bit. A lot of people say, oh, they're loud and annoying. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, loud and annoying. And guess what? Crows are a lot smarter than eagles. Crows do not have such incredible physical skills, but crows can outsmart an eagle. And crows will get loud to let other crows know about the danger. They will not be quiet. Have you ever heard a crow? I was woken up by one when I was camping early in the morning. And and yeah, that woke me right up because it was loud and annoying. But you know what? You gotta admire that. And the whole Hippie Crow Hub and the crow thing. And I think since I called my business a Hippie Crow Hub, the whole interpretation, the whole connection with the character of a crow has been becoming more and more meaningful. So in a way, this whole crow thing has found more meaning as it went, which I think is kind of cool because some things cannot be, predicted or cannot be written forward. It has to kind of find itself in the process. So what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about that power. Yes, still in the connection with my last video, still in a connection of the same problems I see in society. And power, this word power has been circling around in my head since the whole thing. I've been going through a lot of interesting things in my personal life, emotionally. I've been feeling quite run down and burned out about a lot of things. Not just because I see videos on social media, because I am literally experiencing problems in daily life, in trying to get forward, moving forward in life, like dealing with people, dealing with groups of people, being in certain spaces of where somebody is above you and your position is a little bit lower. Like what the whole power thing has been just brewing in my head. Often people say they want freedom, but as soon as they have an opportunity or as soon as they are in a position where they're a little bit above, whether you are inside the home or whether you are inside their environment or whether you're inside their group of friends or whether you are inside a conversation or if you're working for them. People say they want freedom and they believe in democracy. Some people don't. Some people don't even say that. But they do behave like liberal. They behave like communist. And let me give you an example. When you are in a group message and somebody is calling out some sort of problems or something that they didn't like about something, the message by the group creators suddenly gets deleted and moved to the private messages. Now, okay, you created the group on the chat, you have the power, but you are deleting a person's voice. You are covering them up, you are shutting them up. Okay, the message was a little bit maybe emotional or passionate, but just leave it there. If you believe strongly that you didn't do anything wrong or that you are willing to work it out, don't shut that person up. They have the right to speak what they want to speak. You can continue the conversation privately, not to bother the group, but don't delete the message. Also, when you are told that oh, like I'm gonna do things for you. Let's do this because it's gonna be better for you. What I want is that I'm gonna give you this opportunity because I want you to do well. Whenever somebody goes on like that, I'm like, that's a red flag. They are pretending that they want to do good for you, but what they really want is take advantage of you or your talent or whatever you have to offer. I really don't respect when people get in touch with you and pretend to be all buddy, want to be friends, but in the end, they waste like 10 minutes and then they get to the point why they contacted you in the first place. And it turns out they actually wanted something from you. And you're like, why don't you just say, hey, and how are you doing? I know I haven't been in touch forever, but I have a favor to ask you if you don't mind, and just to get straight to the point. Like why pretend that you like this sneaky little thing? When you are in somebody's space, like for example, you inside somebody's shop and you are a vendor, and somebody does things that is overstepping your little rights, but they trying to convince you that they're doing this for you, when you know really that they just want to do that and not give a shit about what your rights are, regardless of whether you like it or not. They try to convince you. Or when they say that, let me know if you have any problems, and then you come to them and then you speak that there's something that bothers you, they blame it on you and they say you're overreacting. And and at the same time, they say that they want freedom, but they take yours away from you. Now, I'm all for freedom if people are doing whatever they want to do and however they want to be without stepping over another person's freedom. Now, again, of course, we need boundaries. Of course, we need some sort of rules, because to have civilized society, we can't all just be so free to the point where we can do absolutely whatever the hell we want. That's not what I'm saying. But we've gotten to the point where freedom of speech is at real risk. And look at the world now after events like that, like somebody was talking and fighting for their beliefs and for their right for free speech, and they got absolutely silenced with a bullet in the neck. And that shook the world. and look at the world react. Look at incredible things that are happening. Look at people coming out, millions of people coming out and demonstrating that they are seeing this. And, like, there's so many people that I know that just want to avoid the conflict. They don't want to lose that subscriber, that follower. Like, they don't want to, there'll be a group of people that will silence themselves to avoid a conflict with one person in the circle who has the ridiculous views. So this group of people have to make an effort to help that one person to stay in their own bubble of lies. Really. Because it's so uncomfortable to have a little debate. And you know what? You can agree that you disagree. I remember a long time ago, I was a teenager. I lived in London, England, and I was partying a lot. I didn't care about my health back then. I came out of a nightclub. I had drinks. I felt like gross. I wanted to eat something because, that's what happens. And in a night, there was some night street food, some like disgusting hot dogs. And I was buying that disgusting hot dog. And then some guy walking past, don't know me. He was like, hey, don't eat that. You know how gross that is? They put like the worst stuff in those sausages. Don't eat it. And at that time, I was like, dude, I don't give a crap. I am drunk. I want to eat whatever right now. And I bought the hot dog and I ate it. But you know what? If I met that person now, I would give them a hug. I would be like, dude. I mean, he didn't change my decision in that moment. But guess what? Maybe 20 years later today, I remember. And I know that he knew something I didn't know at the time, or I didn't give a shit enough about. So did he have an effect? Yeah, he did. Because I remembered. Every time later, I remembered what he said. Because he wasn't lying. He was saying the truth. So, and again, there's this whole intertwined, I would say, fake spirituality going around in this modern society of focus on yourself, you do you. And I was entangled in that a little bit too. And I tried to experience it, but it really backfired on me. I resent it greatly now because I have met enough people in those circles that are full of shit. They're hypocrites, and they keep repeating these phrases, do you, be yourself. And they're going to be the first ones to make you feel like shit for you being yourself. Yeah. They will brag about celebrating femininity and being a woman. And then they will shit on you and put you down if you want to bring your kids to some place where they think is inappropriate. Because what is a better way to celebrate motherhood and womanhood but check your kids to the side, Hypocrisy. But hey, particularly events I'm talking about. And you know what? Since I moved to Canada, I have also been a fresh mom, and most of my motherhood has happened in Canada. I was only pregnant in Hong Kong once, and I have had 1-year-old up to my daughter was 1 year old when we left Hong Kong. So my one pregnancy and 1 year of being a mom in Hong Kong didn't open up my eyes to that perception. But in Hong Kong, there were different cultural things which fair enough. And now being in Canada, I see completely different problems, different hypocrisies. And I don't know if it's the same kind of problems by now everywhere because I'm not there. I don't know. I can't speak for all the situations, but I'm going to speak from my perception of where I am. And we're doing this in society all the time. And I've been trying so hard to be like, what they teach you. It's like, don't judge, don't criticize. But what they mean by that is don't hold me accountable to my bullshit. Don't call out anything I do wrong. I don't want to know. What they are bragging about when they say, don't judge, accept everyone for who they are. Don't look at others, look at yourself. Look at the man in the mirror. Okay, the man in the mirror. Okay, that's another one. The man in the mirror. He was looking at himself, even though he was singing that to billions of people. And was he saying it to himself, or was he asking the evil shits to look themselves in the mirror, and then you start with yourself? Because clearly that person who wrote the song had been looking himself in the mirror for a very long time. And so have I. And guess what happened to him? He was made dead. Right? Michael Jackson, I'm talking about. The Man in the Mirror, the song. That didn't go that well. Okay, Charlie Kirk. He was talking very strongly about all the things. And what power did the 18-year-old have? What power did he have but start something so big that became even bigger and became even more big? He has about like 12 million followers right now. After his death, he had barely 2 million when he died, before he died. And look at the effect, at the power that he has spread. I'm not saying, we all have to die to be more powerful, but what I'm saying is that people always say, like, what power do I have? What can I change? I believe that you can change a lot by just being outspoken about what you think in a daily little thing. Because every time you're quiet about something, you are letting that other person to keep going with the bollocks, with their hypocrisies, and they become unaware. They end up having no clue. When I was growing up, and if I said or did something stupid, everybody that I know around me, my friends, my family, they would let me know that I'm being really stupid. I might not listen. I might have not listened to them and continued doing what I was doing. But they did make sure to let me know what they think. Right? And what you get offended, you cry, you're like, oh my God, I'm traumatized now because somebody said that what I thought was stupid. Well, maybe it was stupid, And it takes time to learn, but you gotta like understand that you cannot have your feelings protected like by like restricting what other people say. I'm getting a glare on the camera, but it doesn't really matter. It's not about the picture here. I guess it's about what I have to say. And I am spilling the beans here. I don't have a script. I am just rolling. I am just pouring out what needs to come out of me. Call it my own personal therapy session. And even if before I recorded that other video, I was like, oh, I bet I was going to lose some subscribers. Oh, yeah, I did. I think about 20 people unfollowed me on YouTube. Oh, well, oh, well, but you know what? The 30 people that liked my video means so much more than the 20 that ran away. And I've watched this uh, somebody I followed for a very long time. They have like over 1 million followers, and I kind of like the people. I looked up to them. I thought they're cool. They were like, they build their success from scratch on social media, and they have put a post on their right to silence, and I kind of like sense that they aware of what's happening. They're not stupid. I believe that they know, and I believe that they support um, free speech, but they don't behave like it because they said um, they said don't get bullied into having to speak your opinion. Like, I have the right to be silenced about what's happening. Yes, you do have the right, but in my eyes, now I kind of lost a little bit of respect for you. Why? Let me explain why. Because let's say you are in a workplace and there's 10 people working, and the manager is bullying one person. And are you going to be that person who is going to just look away and not get involved because it's nothing to do with you? You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to like stand up to that person. You just like, as long as it's not happening to me, shh, don't say anything because that's going to be uncomfortable. Why would you want to have a conflict when you can choose and you have the right not to? Well, you're just being an asshole. You don't have to save someone or help someone or stand up for someone. Like, you don't have to. But what kind of person are you if you don't? And now, that person in front of like 1 million or whatever million of followers that they have, they literally just validate the people that they admire them, validated that yes, be a quiet coward, take care of yourself, do you go and hide, you don't have to speak about anything. Yeah, you don't have to speak about anything, but you will be that person in the workplace or in a group, in a situation where you will get, if somebody bullies you, you'll just be quiet, you won't want to get involved. It just shows your character, you know it's uncomfortable to speak up and to face conflict. It's not like I love it. I like, my body holds that stress. It's not healthy for me. I don't love it, but I can't be the only one doing this, right? And even though my platform here is so small, my last video got what, like not even 500 views. It doesn't matter. I'm still speaking. I'm speaking to the person. I'm speaking to the people I meet on the street, the parents that my kids go to school with. I am speaking everything I want to speak. If they want to avoid me because they don't want to deal with anybody who doesn't do a stupid small talk with them, they can avoid me. They have the right. But I don't have to shut up and say nothing when I see wrong around me. I don't have to smell shit and pretend that smell is like roses. I don't have to. If I see something ugly, I'm going to say it's ugly. I don't have to pretend it's not. And why I have this urge to speak? Because I was feeling like I'm suffocating. Because everywhere you go, there's some sort of like speech control, whether it's this fake spirituality, it's like, oh, you don't want to be negative. You don't want to be, it's not being negative, it's being realistic. We are at this point in life where it's not just like, oh, you got to take care of yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and just do you, and that's how you change the world, by being better yourself. Well, you're also like teaching your kids to be selfish cowards because, just go and hide, don't know anything, let's create this happy little bubble for ourselves. But then after, your kids are still gonna stay in this world that's even shittier because you haven't even helped to solve any actual real problems. because collectively, all of us, we can change everything. We actually need people to wake up. So it's not, we passed the time of looking yourself in the mirror. It's the time where you need to shove that mirror into everybody else's faces. It's literally that time. We even passed that time. It's like we all have to be like so freaking loud right now. Because look what's happening. I mean, you might have no clue, you know. It's like people also think it's like, oh, just watching videos on social media. It's all like propaganda. Not all is propaganda. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of mixed messages. There's a lot of cut out little short clips that are used to take things out of context and turn it into something else that it's not. But if you actually listen to certain people speak in a full speech and see the actions and just keep paying attention, you can create your own opinion. But everybody who has the strong opinions that want to have zero conversation about is usually the ones who are manipulated. Because a lot of times when somebody says something to me, I was like, oh, really? I didn't know about that. Let me know. Tell me more. Like, what about it? Like, I didn't know. What's going on? You know, and then I will go and look into it myself to create my own like understanding of it. I cannot do it about absolutely everything. My head will explode. And again, my husband also made a good point. Not everybody should be like giving advice about politics. 100%. And I'm not giving advice about politics here. I don't give advice to people generally, even when I'm doing my sewing videos. I always say I'm self-taught. This is what I'm doing. I'm sharing, I'm showing. And if you can learn something from me, that is amazing. So same thing now. I'm not really talking like politics, but I'm talking my perception from where I am and how I feel and what I see. And I am saying like we have passed this like politeness, like focus on yourself phase thing. It's way past it. We need to be really loud about how we feel, like all of us, because the ones that are manipulated, they seem to be very loud. They like really loud, but us, we're so polite. So we need more of that waking up happening, that just, if you have that one person, even in your family, it happens even in a family, somebody is completely oblivious to something and they're just making jokes and don't want anything to do with it, and you can't have conversation to them about things. But you don't have to pretend you don't have that opinion. You can still say your opinion and say, I love you, you are my family, you are wrong, we can agree with disagree, but this is what I know and what I think and what I feel. This is the truth. And if that person decides to like, oh no, I'll never be friends with you, I'll cut you off, well, that just like, do you need that person in your life? It's like, you're not the one that cut them off. They are the one that did that. So that just shows their character. You're allowed to be to disagree with people and still be friends, because friendships, I believe, have a lot of different sides to it. Friendships have different purposes. Different friendships are different. In the last since like COVID days, I haven't cut anyone off. People cut me off a lot. We have changed our friends. We have people literally said they don't want to deal with us because of the opinions that we had about making certain decisions about our bodies. We didn't cut anyone off. We have friends with all sorts of opinions. But that just shows the character. It's like, oh, just disappear, go away, leave, unless it's a workplace and that you are not benefiting financially from a situation, and on top of it you have some sort of like emotional burdens that are being put on you and some sort of game playings, then I will leave. I'll be like, I really don't need this. yeah. So about the power that we have. We have a little bit of power. Some of us have more, some of us less. It's like an eagle and a crow. If you're born an eagle, you're gonna fly a lot higher. If you are born a crow, you are by nature are gonna be smarter and by nature a lot louder, and you're gonna annoy people. So yeah, I'm an annoying crow. I'm a loud, annoying crow, and yeah, and crows work together. And there are people that are aligned with how I feel. There are a lot of them. Not everybody wants to talk about it, but again, some do. But what I respect about a person is somebody who will be willing to stand up with someone, even if it's going to be uncomfortable. I respect that. I think we need to stop apologizing for our like beliefs and standing strong with our values, and like I said, I've been baptized as a Christian, but I have not grown up being religious. I didn't grow up constantly going to church. I once in a while I went to church with my grandma, and I kept asking questions, calling out weird things about it. And I just don't like the idea of institutions because, like, even though Christianity has a lot of good values in it, I don't like that human era formed group thing that can become like another little like cult or something. And and I think it's beautiful that a lot of people are joining church now after Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. I think it's beautiful, and I believe that a lot of people need some sort of strong guidance and an anchor in life to keep themselves straight and disciplined. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I have seen most of my life that Christian rights have been put down so much because everybody else has all these rights to practice and preach all the other religions, but Christians don't because they are like this and that. And yes, I believe that the church has bad history, but it's not the Bible who did it. It was again evil people who used that as a weapon. And again, the gun didn't shoot anyone on its own. It was a madman who used the gun to shoot. I mean, you can, yeah. Also, another important thing I want to share about, okay, the power and the truth. Okay. So there's this whole thing going around of this new term invented. I don't know where it started, how it started, but the first time I heard it was in Canada. Again, the land of the brainwash. My truth. Okay. Isn't it a truth or the truth? Because I'm pretty sure it's the truth, meaning one. Or is it a truth? Are there many truths about one particular situation? Or is there different side of the story, another person's perception, another man's understanding, another man's take on it? But the truth is just one. So you cannot say it's my truth. It means that you just made it up. You invented something that is a lie, but you're saying it's your truth, and because you said it, so you're going to live it and it's yours. Well, you can say it's your ideas, your beliefs, it's like, just because you believe something, it doesn't mean it's truth. It doesn't mean it's the truth. I mean, I see this like sometimes, this picture that I saw about this rings that I put, 3 rings, and the picture is taken from different angle of it, and it looks completely different from. So, and all is truth, right? But the point is that the truth is all of these angles. So if you have a truth, it's like something that you need to walk around, go underneath it, look on top, like get close, get far, like inspect it, investigate it to really understand the complete truth about something. Right? Now, the ultimate truth of our existence, who the hell knows? I don't even know. Nobody knows. Like, please, people think they know, they believe. There's so many different ideas and takes on it, but I believe that nobody really knows. That's why I have to believe it, right? You have to believe it. And possibly the truth is out there. It's just being hidden from us, possibly. You know? So about the power, the power, the power. Why since the last week, the last video that I recorded, I was very emotional. And I felt so heavy, but you know what? After I recorded this video, I immediately had such a sense of relief, and I was like, "Oh God, I've been wanting to say stuff and record these little videos, like regardless whether they get me anywhere. I just felt the need to speak. And if one person can hear me and one person can relate to any of this that I'm saying, and I don't expect everyone to agree with absolutely everything I'm saying, just, maybe it will give that one person a courage to speak up for themselves, to stand up and make the world a better place somehow, in a little way, because we cannot be quiet anymore. So we have power to do so. It might be a little bit uncomfortable, and also the power, it came up with in between the Charlie Kirk and Kanye West, the song Power. And Charlie Kirk, I think, mentioned something, or was it in Kanye West's lyrics, something like that, I don't remember exactly, but what came up was, do you have power to give up power? Do you have that power to give up the power? Do you have power to give up your power? It's like a lot of evil things happen when bad people are in power, or they hold power above us. They want the power to feel powerful. And Charlie Kirk also said in one of his speeches that the most powerful thing is to hold power, to hold power over yourself, to be in control with yourself. Something along those lines. Now, I'm not gonna say exactly word to word. There's been a lot of information going through my head, and this video is just me sharing my thoughts and my feelings. So, not claiming absolutely everything, but yes, the power. So when it comes to my power over myself, I know that I can absorb way too much weight from around me, and I feel so much, and it's like I'm an empath. I just absorb everything, and it's not good for me. Then it's harder for me to function. So what I started to do is to claim the power over myself. I did 48-hour fasting, which was amazing. I've been doing only 24 hours, but 48 hours was a very good time to kind of make me feel like I'm sober again. Not sober from substances, but sober from all this weight and feelings, and just food too. Food is a drug. We need it, but food can be very addictive. I want to get my power back over myself. So I've been doing a lot of things, letting go of things, cleaning out my home, filtering things. I want less of everything so I can be less distracted with unnecessary things. But it doesn't mean to ignore what's happening in the world, because what's happening in the world right now is extremely important. This is history. And when somebody just wants nothing to do with it and just live their little life, they're not doing anything good for the future of the kids. And I believe that we are placed on earth in some way as a test, maybe. If people believe that there's, a reason for things happening certain ways or things, but they keep getting opportunities in life and they're not proving themselves any better. I my goal is not to tune out from the world so I can be more comfortable in my own head. That's not my goal. My goal is to do the right thing, little by little, one step at a time. Doesn't mean being perfect, but trying and wanting to do better every day. And I think that's where the power is. And wanting power over others, that's evil. That's not where it's at. But holding people accountable is different. Avoiding conflict for the sake of your own comfort doesn't do anything good in a bigger picture. It's just like my problems with landlords, having to deal with a lawsuit because everybody else in the building either move out or allow them to bully them or avoid the conflict and end up doing all of their repairs themselves. And guess what? It makes those bad people be very comfortable behaving the way they behave. So they not just didn't solve their own problem, they avoided that problem, but they allowed them to become bigger and more comfortable, and they allowed them for their behavior to be okay. That's as if it's normal because nobody wants to face that conflict. So they are leaving the worser behind themselves. They have an opportunity to help to fix something, but they don't because they don't want to deal with it. It's like if you made a mess, you just toss a blanket over it and you move to another place. Guess what's going to happen later? Somebody else will go there, will find that mess. Is going to be infested with cockroaches. Is going to be like rotten. Someone's going to step on it and slip, and there you go. You cause so much more problems because you didn't want to deal with it. Well, so I had to deal with my problem and I dealt with it, and now these people don't treat us bad. They do what they have to do. They do what they're supposed to do. They do what they expect. So there you go. Just holding people accountable. It's important. You cannot. You know. There was this crossing guard next to my kid's school. Completely, absolutely useless. She was confusing traffic. She didn't know what she was doing. And a week later, I was like, I can't take this anymore. Why is she there? Why is she getting paid by our tax money? Did she even get trained? Like, is she going to cause accident? Our kids are going to get run over by a car? That's not going to be on my conscience. So I called the city and I told them about it. So she got removed immediately. And we had another crossing guard for a week, and today I saw her again. I don't know if she got back into training. I don't know what happened. We'll see what happens. But things can be done. You just need to want to do it. But every other person was complaining about it, but they wouldn't make the call because, it's like, why bother? My goal is not to just go and fire people, but you got to hold them accountable because Okay, what if a kid does get run over by a car when they're crossing the street without parents, and this crossing guard is useless, but it's put there so that people feel that the kids are going to be safer, but she's not doing the job. And then after a kid gets run over by a car, everybody will be like, oh, we got to do something. Well, guess what? A little bit fucking too late because one kid is already gone. You see? See what I mean? You gotta solve problems, like bigger problems, not just like your own little immediate comfort zone. You gotta solve bigger problems too. Okay, guys. Another Monday, another spill the beans kind of video. I'm going through things and I am cleaning things up in my own head and my own environment and my own understanding. And I am starting to gain my own power over myself and what I can do, to at least know that in the end of my life, I at least try. Because I don't want to live a pretend little bubble happy life when I know that I was a complacent human being. I want to leave a better world for my kids. It's not just about me. I don't want to leave a mess behind myself for another person, even if I don't know that person. There's a certain pride that you have to live. Okay, anyway, I'm going. Thank you for being here, if you're still here. If you left, I guess you haven't even heard this video, so what a biggie. Okay. See you later, alligators. Still got a whole pile of clothes to repair and sew. And it's gonna happen when it happens. Okay, have a lovely week. Stay strong. Speak, because we need it. We need to have free speech and free will. Otherwise, we have nothing. We really do. Okay. Bye-bye.